Welcome everyone to Talented Universe. And we were discussing right before we went on air that it looked like StreamYard was giving us some issues, and I found that out as soon as we went live. So hopefully I have got it fixed, and I am going to make sure we do have a viewer, so that's a good thing. But it looks like that one of our main links did not work, but looks like the main ones are working. So we're going to go ahead and just have a great time. I'd like to first welcome my co-host today, Liz. Liz, how are you dealing with a StreamYard and on life?
Oh, StreamYard's giving me a little bit of a headache, but other than that, I'm fine. It's a beautifully sunny day, so we don't have to deal with that horrific thunder and lightning we had on Monday. I wasn't kidding when I said, oh, it's getting dark. It was getting so dark, it was almost as dark as the background. And then just massive thunder and lightning, like right over the house. But today it's all sunny and nice. So.
Well, that's good. I'm sure Mario did that for us. So.
I wish I had that power.
Well, I think you do. But I would like to introduce our guest today, Mario Silva. Mario, how are you doing? And are you having a great time? Is your weather nice there?
Absolutely. It's fantastic. I mean, I'm in LA, so, the weather good as it gets over here.
You're not in Ecuador or Dubai or one of those fun places?
Not at the moment. No, I just got back to LA a few days ago after traveling to China for another vertical. So it's good to be here in the weather that is pretty much perfect.
Well, that is good.
That's nice.
Good. Liz, do you want to start us off, or?
Yeah, I'll start you off, considering I have a gazillion questions.
And you don't want me to steal them, I know.
I know. I want to steal yours. I have a question for you. You were born in Ecuador, but then as a young age, you moved to Dubai.
I did.
Do you still maintain some of the Ecuadorian language, or is it all Dubai and English now?
No. So basically, being born in Ecuador, I spent the first 10 years of my life there. So that was Hispanic household. So it was all Spanish for the first 10 years of my life. And then once I moved to Dubai, we went to an international school with like predominantly British teachers, because that's pretty much how it is over there. It's kind of like Singapore and Hong Kong, where like they have their Cantonese, predominant culture, but everything is influenced, by the British. So Dubai is kind of like that too. So there was a little bit of an Arabic influence growing up, and I still was able to pick up the language a little bit, but it's really just English pretty much has been in my life since I was 10 years old.
Wow. The other thing I wanted to ask you is you got into acting very young.
Yes.
What was the influence for you doing it? What was it a school play you got into that made you love it, or?
Well, actually, funnily enough, I was watching the movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey.
Oh, yes.
So I must have been maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I thought it was such a hilarious movie that everybody would just laugh so much when they would watch it that I started learning bits from the film and act them out for family and friends, and they would laugh so hard that I just thought from that day I was like, wait, is there a possibility for me to do this for the rest of my life? And then I found that I could, so I was like, great, let's do that.
And then, of course, immediately you probably started thinking about what are the best schools to go to learn more, which I'm going to assume is what landed you in New York.
It did indeed. Yeah, Lee Strasberg. So I, at 18 years old, right after graduating high school, I went straight to New York, got started over there. And I got to say, it's definitely a major influence on my approach, my technique, and just overall motivation, really, when I work.
What brought you out to California now? I'm assuming you're living here permanently, not in New York anymore.
True. Actually, funnily enough, it was a vertical.
It was a vertical.
Yeah, so I was filming because I always said, as an actor, you'll probably hear this a lot from actors that before they come to LA, they are always worried that they're going to come here and have no work. So a lot of us, we tend to be like, hey, we'll go there when there's work, when we get an opportunity. So I was in Miami doing a play because I had just finished some work in New York, and I went to visit some family in Miami, and I landed at a theater, and I was like, I auditioned for it. I booked this play, and I was going to stay there to work a little bit in theater, and then I get a vertical offer in LA, and I was like, this is very interesting, this like soap opera style, quick filming concept. This is great. I'll go there. I'll do the job. It's 2 weeks of work. So I came out here finally, officially, and I was like, all right, this is it. I met some people. Then they offered me another one right away. So I was like, great, let's get the ball rolling. And that's how I got it. I mean, I was going to move here eventually anyway.
But yeah, this kind of kicked it.
That lined up,
Yeah, this kind of kicked it into high gear, though, that you actually do move.
Yes, exactly. It was like, okay, now I have to go, right?
Yeah, I'd heard you'd mentioned the fact that you'd done some theater. Which would you prefer, theater or acting?
Well,
this both not acting, but you know what I mean. Oh, Michael, hush.
Well, I saw recently an interview with Denzel Washington where he says that film is a director's medium, theater is an actor's medium.
I've seen that, yeah.
When you want to learn how to act, you do theater. And it's very true. So the reason why I prefer theater is because, you spend months preparing a role. You spend months working on a character, and with the director, it's a collaboration. But then once you go ahead and step on that stage, it's all you, right? That they provide all of that for you. And in film, on the other hand, you do have a lot of the times where you prepare something and you want to do something, and the production's like, that's not the direction that we're going to go with that. No. And it's very restricting in film. In theater, the stage is your world, and you get to play and you get to go all out with that. And that's pretty great. That's pretty incredible.
In college, I did a lot of theater, and I did not like when we actually took it off the theater where we would be performing live and actually just shoot it through a video to have, it worked on and then released or whatever. I did not like that because I felt it was a little constricting myself, because you kind of had to stay within, a certain range of acting and emotion. Whereas if you were on stage with the theater, you got to feed off the audience a little bit more, and you could, throw a couple little things in there that may not have actually been in the script, but it felt right for the moment.
Absolutely. It's that energy, that live energy. But at the same time, that's kind of like what breaks my heart a little bit, that you put in so much work, so many weeks, 8 weeks working on something, and then you put it up live, and then that's it. That's it. At least in film, it's like, hey, it's been recorded.
Yeah, for posterity. I have a question. If you don't want to answer it, or you feel uncomfortable answering it, please don't. But I have a friend who's also in the LA area that is of British and Persian descent. And the thing that frustrates him the most, he's gotten some incredible roles, but the things that frustrate him the most is he is cast more on ethnicity versus him being a good actor. Mm-hmm. Have you experienced that, where they're, choosing you just for your background?
I do feel like there are certain, especially in commercials, I don't find that, at least me and my friend were talking about that in the vertical world, how they kind of push all that aside, and then they cast you regardless of your background, which is pretty incredible. Like it's just a melting pot of actors where they're just like, these are your roles, play with it, But in commercials specifically, I would say a lot of the times you do feel like you're just filling a quota, like it's just, but that's what you see in Hollywood too. You see it and you're like, or even on Broadway. A lot of the times you'll go watch something and you'll say, okay, this person was probably picked because they needed to fill a quota, which
Right.
is which to me, I mean, obviously opportunity is great and embracing diversity is fantastic, but I think that getting the right person for the job is should always be more important. And fortunately for me, I haven't, because I don't shy away from it if they're like, "Oh, Latino, right? Come here." Well, yeah, I am Latino, and I'm gonna bring it. I'm still gonna do my job. So as frustrating as it can to be nitpicked for your ethnicity, at the same time, you are who you are. A lot of people, like in this day and age, we're kind of fighting for identity. So just embrace it. I would say to this individual, hey, embrace it, man. Love it and go with it and do your best. And people will know that you are, if you don't want to be categorized as just Persian, people will learn that you are more than just that.
No, I'll have to tell Dom that because, like I said, that's the thing that frustrates him the most. And he's been in the acting world now about 10 years. And I'd say since COVID hit, he's had a harder and harder time finding roles simply because of that. So,
It is on it. I mean, hey, post COVID, every actor will tell you that it's tough. The industry's tough. But all I can say is embrace who you are, embrace who you want to be, and just bring your A game. If you bring your A game, you're going to be respected for that, and that's the important thing, I think.
it's very good advice. Michael, did you want to slip something in there?
I want to slip something in here. We had a comment statement from James, and he says, Mario is such a great actor. He reminds me of young Pacino. Greetings from Lead Bay, Thailand.
Love that. Wow, that's really beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we seem to get people from everywhere. It's really amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible. Hey, Late Bay Thailand, want to say hello to you over there. Beautiful country. I'll be visiting there next month, actually, so very exciting.
Vacation or work, or can't you say?
One of my best friends is getting married, so
Oh,
head over there and be there for him.
well, that'll be nice. That'll be nice. Get you away from LA for a little while.
Just a
Yeah.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah. How? Because Liz and I were talking about this. How many verticals have you done that are out right now, or have you no clue?
That's it's hard to keep track because they just pop out. But I know that there are 5. There are 5 that I know are out. And there's 2 more that should be coming out in April. They should be coming out in April. Yeah, very exciting projects. Honestly, very exciting. I'm very excited.
Well, that's good. Oh, go ahead, Liz.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I know that between the actual 2-hour long movies that we've had, and you've done a few of those, which I have seen, and then you have the verticals. Which one do you think would be your favorite type to do? Verticals because they're quicker and they're over faster, and you can throw yourself completely into them, or the other, a little bit longer, a little slightly different styled movie.
Ooh, that's very interesting because it is a very different dynamic. I think that the vertical world, as you said, is really incredible because it's quick. You go in, you go out, you do your thing, you shoot 20 scenes per day. It's fast paced. The director and the AD, big props to them. They really work just, like military, just getting everything done. It gives you very little room to be like, can I get another take? You don't want to be that guy in the vertical world. In the horizontal world, there is more room to do that. The production, takes a little bit longer. They do focus on just the details a little bit more. So obviously, as a performer, it's great to have that. However, with the horizontal world, it does take longer for production to finish, to wrap up the project. Verticals, they come out quick. So it's kind of nice when family and friends are asking, hey, what are you doing? I want to see you in something. With the verticals, it's like, hey, that thing, we saw you were shooting something. And then in a month, I'm like, here it is, so, and it's pretty wonderful because, family and friends, they, supportive family and friends, they want to see what you're up to. So that's what I like.
And they want it now.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of the times that's how my mom will be. I'll be shooting something. She's like, when can I see that? I'm like, Mom, I'm filming it right now. Just give it a minute, But what I can do is say, hey, but remember the last one, the one I shot in January, that one's out. You can watch that now.
There you go. Yeah. Do you, as you were talking about, which you kind of didn't say which one you preferred, but the differences with shooting verticals and horizontals, what do you find most intriguing that you have to change either the way you move, or because the verticals, you don't have much horizontal space to move. Do you find that is it difficult to adjust to it, or do you do it fairly quickly? Because you've been on stage, that is huge. Yeah. You've been in horizontals, and that's a little bit smaller than a stage. But now you've got that much.
Literally. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And they see your feet a lot too, which sometimes you don't on the horizontal. So what do you find different when you're filming, and what you're maybe thinking when you're doing it?
So the funny thing is that the way that you actually worded that is exactly my transition. I transitioned from stage to film to vertical. So I did go from, and it's really funny because on stage, you have all this room, like you said. Mm-hmm. Then I remember shooting my first film, and they were like, hey, you got to get closer. And I'm like, closer? Yeah. They're like, closer. And I'm like, and I felt like I was right up against the, my scene partner. And I was like, wait, like this. They're like, yeah, man, we're only seeing this. So this is it. But I got to say, you don't know what closer means until you do a vertical. Because after that horizontal film, I was like, okay, you got to get close. And then my first vertical, they're like, closer. I'm like, I'm close. Closer. Literally, we're like this.
Like that.
And I'm like this. They're like, yeah, this is great shot. We can get both of you in. And I'm like, okay.
But I'm standing on her feet.
It's right here, And the funny thing is that, like you said, so it does show feet, which I feel like the biggest problem here that an individual might face is actually the sound guide with the boom.
Oh,
yeah. Get us with the boom is like you're in frame no matter what, because you go below us, you'll probably be in frame. You go above us, you're probably in frame. So it's the whole department. Every department they gotta change a little bit of everything.
Yeah, well, I think they're getting much better at it. China, I understand, has been doing it longer than the United States has.
Yes, right here.
So, but still, when I stumbled across it, because of certain people, we won't discuss who, I didn't know what it was. When I saw it on Instagram, I go, what is this? And it was just something I had not heard of. And I don't feel bad because none of my friends had either. So, but I found it intriguing. That's one of the reasons that we're doing this, because it's kind of a new medium, and it's in its infancy in the States, and a lot of people still don't know about it. So,
true. Very true. But it's popping up. It's widely popular. It's like, for me, it was easy to get a grasp on it because being South America, growing up, seeing a lot of soap operas on television, I understood that this was basically the concept. It is soap opera, but it's shot vertical so that people are on their phones. They don't have to do this.
Turn the phone, yeah.
And so I understood that, and also the way they shoot it, because I know a lot of individuals that shoot soap operas, and that's also how they shoot. They shoot 20 to 30 scenes per day with a very limited turnaround. You're back the next day. You got to shoot it, and so that's just how.
Well, they have to, because they're on 5 days a week.
Absolutely.
And so it's boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of that, how is your memorization skills?
Well, people often ask that, and I gotta say, because a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, that's such a challenge," but memory is a muscle. You train it, and you get better and better. So if I go, let's say, a year without acting, and then I step back into stage, memorizing things is gonna hurt. But when you're keeping it consistent, it gets easier and easier. So I mean, like I said, coming from stage with long dialogues, and then doing a vertical. So last summer I was working on 2 Shakespeare plays, and I was able to squeeze a vertical in between. So the last vertical were super easy because I was reciting Elizabethan in the park, and then I had to come here, and then it's a dialogue. It's just hey, boom, 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 boom. Table tennis, just between you and me, modern day dialogue. So I guess if you challenge yourself with, if you challenge your memory, it's not that hard. I promise you. Well, unless they give you like a monologue, like a page monologue, it might take a little bit of time, but it's just so relatable, because it's things that you might, every day come across. So I don't think that's a challenge for me. I'll be honest.
Well, that's good. Liz, did you have anything else, or?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I think.
What would make you think that?
I don't know.
Is it true that I read part of this correct, that you were one of the stars for White Lotus?
No, I wish.
Okay. So he was telling me that, and I'm like, nothing that I have seen, but I'll confirm it with him.
Yeah,
so
not yet, but maybe.
Hopefully you will get that. Yeah, I think you'd be very good at whatever role they throw at you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Would mean a lot to me, because absolutely, I love the show, and that'd be great.
That would be. Okay, we already said that you have shot in all these different countries, but what country that you have not shot in that you wish you could?
You know what? I haven't shot in Mexico yet. I've gotten a few opportunities, especially because they're doing some verticals there now as well. I just haven't had the time to consider a role there, but I'd very much like to go to Mexico, because I've had 2 projects there in the pipeline, which, due to COVID, due to strikes, things like that, I wasn't able to do. So it's kind of like this thing where I'm like, I was so close, and for some, force majeure, it didn't happen. So I kind of really want to get that in the bag, put that in my CV that I was in Mexico shooting something.
That would be really awesome if you did do that. Especially, like you'd said that they're doing so many projects right now, and to have that, in your bucket list of things that you wanted to do, and with what they're doing, I think whatever you choose to do, I think would be an absolutely brilliant strategy for you. And I think because of what I've seen you act in, I think it would be phenomenal watching the acting of it, to see that character or whatever character you choose to be, put out on live film. I really think that would be good.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Yeah, that's really kind of you to say. And I think one of the things about Mexico would be that if I get a chance to do one of these in Spanish or Spanglish, that'd be cool too. Yeah. And then people can stop asking me if I speak Spanish, because a lot of people that still ask me, they're like, wait, are you fluent in Spanish? And I'm like, yes, it's my first language. I am fluent.
Have you thought about trying to get into dubbing some of the verticals into Spanish? Doing voiceovers?
I got a script. One of the scripts that I got to shoot in Mexico, it was the same storyline of a vertical that I had already done, and it was translated into Spanish. So here's the thing, though. I don't know how much opportunity, because they never approached me to translate anything. I did hear of one of a friend of mine who was approached to translate a script, but I know that they use a lot of AI for dubbing and
Yeah.
Yeah,
translation.
they do.
So I don't think I can make a career out of that. I mean, it's just getting better and better. So,
It is, yeah.
cheaper. So if anything, maybe correct the AI version, but yeah, I don't think I'll be able to make a career out of that. Thank you.
Oh, well, I was trying to get you more.
Well,
Yeah.
you never know. It might have.
Hey, that's very true.
Speaking of being on set and doing different things, what item have you already maybe swiped from set that you've now brought home to be in your personal collection? Or
Oh,
which
If you
one would
don't want to say it,
like
that's
to?
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, the thing is that I am a minimalist, as you can tell by my beautiful plain white wall right here. So every time I do have something, I'm like, oh, this would be great to keep. And I'm like, oh, where am I going to put it? So I don't. What I like to do is I like to, especially in theater, I like to take one of the pages from the script, have it signed by the whole cast, and then keep it with me. The playbills, I keep the playbills. But on set, I tend not to keep any props. Not yet, but maybe if one day if I work with Peter Jackson on a Tolkien adaptation, probably keep something from set, and I'll let you guys know. I might not let the world.
Good.
Let you guys know.
You'll let us know.
Yeah.
Well, that probably answers my final question that I had. When you're not filming anything or on stage, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I do like to travel the world. I think that's an investment that you'll never regret. It's I highly recommend it to everybody that is watching this. If you are second guessing a travel trip, don't. You are going to learn so much. And I do tend to do that. I tend to broaden my horizons, go to a place that I've never been to before, do something that I've never done before. In terms of a particular hobby, I do like to hike. I like to do calisthenics. I like to go to the park, just get some sun. But trying something new and going somewhere new, that would definitely be
That's what you like. That's your biggie.
100%. Whether it's trying a new restaurant, whether it's going to a new place, seeing live music, a new artist, a new movie, anything new that I can do at least once a day, that's something that I cherish a lot.
Well, have you gone to New Zealand to look at where they filmed?
Not yet, and I said because I'm gonna need like a month for that trip.
Yeah.
People ask me, they're like, wait, why don't you go to New Zealand? I'm like, because I'm gonna need like a month, and I don't have that time on me right now. Because I have a map that has every location, outdoor location, anything that was not filmed in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
The map, so I'm gonna go to every location all across New Zealand and take a picture.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Maybe in costume. I don't know. I haven't decided that yet, but it's gonna take me a long time. So hopefully soon.
Yeah.
I think you already answered this, but I'm going to ask it again in maybe a slightly different way. Who or what, at the time when you first started noticing that you wanted to be an actor, was it a teacher, another performer, another actor? Who or what was it that decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life?
Well, definitely Jim Carrey was a huge, and it still is a huge influence to me. The comedy aspect that he brings to the table is it's phenomenal. But I think it was, what I was mentioning just now about learning something new every day, getting something new every day. Applying that, I would get something from somebody new that would motivate me to keep, sort of like being able to bring that message of reality into this fictional world where it's not really fictional, right? Because we're trying to display or convey the truth, and through the story, through the plot, through the character. And I think it's definitely changed, but my major influences have been Jim Carrey, Al Pacino, Brando, De Niro. When I was in Strasbourg, I had a master class with Vincent D'Onofrio, and he's one of my major influences to this day. And I think that even though my major inspiration was always to be able to convey a truthful message to the world through the acting medium, I've always, along the journey, I've been able to find people around me, professionals around me that just keep that fire lit. I hope that answers your question.
It does. And actually, it was a really nice way to answer it. So, I mean, you're staying within the arts and crafts, basically, road, but you splintered off a little bit to do something a little more focused into what you want to do.
Mhm.
What, in any of the movies that you've done, and this will be my final question, what was the one thing that you remember the most?
I mean, I do feel like you make a lot of memories on set. It is a little bit heartbreaking that when you wrap a film, everything is just a memory. It becomes a memory, but I think that one of my favorite things from a film set is the collaboration with the director. I was working on this film called Trika, which is going to come out soon, as in the editing room. And we were shooting it in the desert in Dubai. And the director, it was really interesting because me and my scene partner, we would go out into like the plain open desert where it's just sand, maybe a camel or two every now and then. And we would just do our preparation. And I look over and I see the director, and he would just watch what we were doing. He wouldn't interfere, but he would just watch what we were doing. And then when we came back and we started filming, he wouldn't question what we were doing because he saw it in the prep. And he had an idea of what we're trying to bring to the table. And to me, that means something to me, because when we're doing a film, as I said, it's not an actor's medium, but to have the other individuals respect what you bring to the table is the only thing I could ask for. When somebody asks me to do a TV show or a film, the only thing I could ask is for them to give me a chance to show them what I prepared, and to respect that a little bit.
That makes perfect. Yeah, it makes perfect sense then, the way that you described that. Because you need yourself, and the vision of what you're doing in your mind, but you're also visualizing what, the other person or animal is supposed to be attempting to do.
Yeah, exactly that. Yes.
Michael, I'll throw it back at you.
Yeah, I'll throw it back to me, and it's time for us to wrap up. But I would like to thank Mario for joining us today. People out watching, if you didn't notice, here is his Instagram, Juan Mario Silva on Instagram. Please say hi and say that you saw him on our show. We would appreciate that. And then he'll know that, some people watch, which is great. And this podcast will be available afterwards, as long as YouTube decides to keep it. So, which is wonderful. But as I said, I would like to thank you for being on. And behalf of Liz, if you'd ever like to come back and talk about new projects, we'd love to have you.
I am very happy that you reached out. lovely questions. Really, really. I mean, the questions that you were able to provide just really brought back a lot of good memories. So, really,
Good memories are very good. Yes.
yes. Thank you so much.
So I will say goodbye, adios, and we'll see you next time, everyone. We've got a couple of things coming up. We've got we got some voice guests coming up, and I'll let you go on to the web page unless I can find it right now, which is driving me crazy. I closed down the things. Tomorrow we have Brooke Wood from the new season of The Voice, and on Friday we have Britton Moore and Kaya that will be with us. So we'll have 2 podcasts for The Voice on Friday and 1 on Thursday. So on behalf of Liz, myself, and the rest of the NDB Media team and Talented Universe, thank you for coming, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.